All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here. Dr. Fedeli invited me for this artist talk to be able to share my a little bit of my artistic journey with you, and I'm going to start with the title of my work, which is the Seven Valleys, and also I'm going to introduce my inspirations and studies, including art, myth, psychological flow state, and ineffable freedom. So, okay. So I'm a multidisciplinary artist, and I got my first MFA, Master of Fine Art degree in my home country, Iran, and then with visual art painting concentration. And I moved here a couple of years ago to be able to study in printmaking, which is my second Master of Fine Art, visual art with printmaking concentration here at Georgia State University. So starting from my roots in the Persian traditions, I'm branching out, seeking my place in the universe, looking for enlightenment among the different belief systems. And conceptually, I focus on Persian literature and poetry, mythical stories, epic stories, and stories that are communicating a holistic perception of the world that I find very illuminating. So I focus on these studies and to create installations, spiritual, like atmospheric spaces, to be able to communicate and then express his feelings, and then having that connection with inner world, and also inviting my viewers to interact with my works. So I also interconnect those studies with psychology and mythology, and I recently begun incorporating with scientific studies that are relative to my works. For example, I started studying quadrivium studies, which is a mathematical art. And generally, my primary aesthetic concerns visual art, including different, like different mediums like painting, drawing, printmaking, especially is my departure. My departure to start my journey through the art making process, using different techniques, lithography, which is etching on a stone, intaglio, which is etching on a copper plate, and dealing with chemical things like different acids, and a screen print, wood block, monoprint, and also alternative photography processes. And I translate them to another mediums, intersecting them with another mediums, especially time-based mediums like video, dance, or movement, sound and light. And also, like I said, I inviting my viewers, audience, to interact with my works with, like their shadows. Generally, I work on, especially recently, I'm working, my body of work is a series of two-dimensional and three-dimensional installations, and also sometimes performance that I'm examining spiritual explorations and considering and questioning connection with inner world, nature, and also universal intelligence. So this is a couple of pictures of my installation from the Seven Valleys that we're going to go through that. This is another shot, another view of the Seven Valleys, including 7 panels of a screen print on plexiglasses and a video installation. This is Ineffable Freedom, titled Ineffable Freedom, also includes 2D and 3D installation, and my printmaking techniques on paper. These are not digital prints. These are, again, like traditional prints that I made on paper, and you know, it's giant, you know, installation, long paper. I installed them to create, again, atmospheric space, and including video installation and three-dimensional shapes that I created from my prints on paper. So to create this atmospheric space that I mentioned, I was mainly inspired by a concept of Persian mythology and epic poem, which is one of the most important ones in our culture, as in, you know, all Iranians, especially Iranian artists, inspired by Shahnameh, which is the Book of King. Meaning of that is the Book of Kings. And this Shahnameh is a masterpiece that is a mytho, history, and rule of ancient Persia. So mytho story is like a mythical story and historical story, including both of them, and also the rule of ancient Persia. So this poem, this classical poem, is the longest Persian epic poem written by Abul Qasim Ferdowsi between 1000 and 1010 century, and consisting of some 50,000 couplets, including 2-line verses and rhyme. And this book is mainly expresses, you know, mythical and historical past of Persian Empire, especially from creation of the world until Muslim conquest. So that's why it's very important for Iranians. It's also this manuscript its main idea is saving Persian culture and language, especially. And this Abul Qasim Ferdowsi worked on this piece around 30 years. So it took like 30 years to finish this masterpiece. There are different manuscripts, but one of the most important one is the most important Shahnameh, is a Shahnameh of the dedicated to Shahnameh, Shah Tahmasp, from the Safavid Empire, and this Shahnameh this Shahnameh covers reigns of the 50 kings, and it's all about national epic of Greater Iran. And this manuscript included 285 remarkable illustrations and also different sections, including mythical, heroic, and historical sections. So I'm mainly inspired by the composition and harmonic color composition of this piece, and also the idea of this book, especially that is demonstrating harmonious civilized society, and as you see, like there is different people, there's a diversity, and also you can see the animals, and you know, harmonious paradise-looking composition that aims to educate next generation Iranians. And so this piece is it's called The Court of Kumars, and is produced and dedicated to Shah Tahmasp. Like I said, one of the Safavid kings around 1525 in 16th centuries, which means 500 years after composition of the Shahnameh. the text. And is created by Sultan Muhammad in Tabriz in Iran. And this court of Qumars, Qumars is a name of a king, and in is a Persian form of the Gayomart, which is in Avesta or Avestian language, from the tradition of the Zoroastrian, one of the world's oldest monotheistic religions, founded by Zoroaster approximately 3,500 years ago. And then it's in Zoroastrian mythology, Gayomart or Qumars in Farsi had been granted supernatural power by God, and is some of the scholars believe that the Qumars was considered as the first king, and also human form of the God on the earth. And then also showing the people in this piece, especially particularly in this painting, showing the people living in a civilized, harmonious way. The right image is Jashn Sadeh, or Feast of Sada, Sada, is also a painting created by Sultan Muhammad. And both pieces worked, with opaque watercolor, ink, silver, and gold. And Court of Qumart is right now is Aga Khan Museum in Toronto. So Shahnameh also concerns the origin and nature of the world, and also, lives and activities of divine heroes and mythological creatures, especially Seymour, one of the most important mythical creatures in Shahnameh, that symbolizes great wisdom, truth, and transcendence, and also considered to purify land and water. And also is representing a connection between earth and the sky. Seymour also, it's good to mention that similar to Phoenix, the mythical creature of Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology, and also Persian mythology. So my second inspiration is coming from the Conference of the Birds story. The actual name is Mantiqut Tayr, created by Farideddin Attar, who was a Sufi and mystic in 12th century. Attar's works, the Conference of the Birds, is based upon a story of Shahnameh, and then he had the Seymour mythical creature in his story. And my inspiration and the title of the Seven Valleys coming from this masterpiece, and it's about the birds from all around the world are getting together to search their king, which is Seymour. So this image right here is, an example of one version of the story created in 1600 century, an illustration of this showing the birds are getting together exactly before their departure on their quest of a spiritual perfection, which is going through that 7 steps or 7 valleys to find that perfection or peace. So these 2 images are 2 different views of my 7 Valley installation. I want to go through a little bit more, go through the story behind this installation or the 7 Valleys. This is, again, is about the birds gathering for a conference, and then they one by one They come and arrive with a glorious and colorful and beautiful, magnificent crowns and tails. And then each bird, each one of the birds represents a unique human characteristics. So one of them is hoopoe bird, which is a leader, and nightingale symbolizes a seeker for spiritual immortality, and peacock is symbolizing a fallen soul. So they decide to find their king, and going through the hardships of the 7 valleys to be able to reach to the final valleys, which is the 7th step is called Kuhe Qaf, or Qaf Mountain, where Simorgh is living, and basically is where the known world is there. So I also to create that, so I started with story, and to create this atmospheric space, I thought about the flow, and then how I can create that atmospheric space to invite my viewers to engage to that feelings, and getting into the energized focus and immersive moments, having time with their selves, and also connecting with the inner world. So that's why I start thinking about the psychological flow state. And psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi originated the concept of the flow as a psychological state. So he defines the process of total involvement, defines the flow, the process of total involvement with life. And I found Mihali's interpretation very interesting and reasonable definition, equivalence of flow, definition of the flow state, description from Eastern Sufi cultures, philosophy to English. Also, it's good to know that flow is a term used to describe biological and geological processes, and also, most importantly, mysterious dimension of the human behavior, and also mythical cosmic connection. Mihaly says when one is in the flow state, concentration is so intense that there's no attention left over to think about anything irrelevant or to worry about problems. Self-consciousness disappears, and the sense of the time becomes distorted. He also mentions in Optimal Experience book, the inner dynamic of optical experience is what drives the self to higher and higher level of complexity. So I want to start talking about the technical process, that how makes me get into the energized focus. And I want to start with this description of also the Mihaly proposes that therefore flow happens when an experience generates a feeling of energized focus, but it could also be a component to the processes that lead to self-growth and discovering something new. So printmaking process to me is a process full of experiences, unpredictable things, and sometimes happy accidents, and also repetition. There's a lot of repetitions going on in this process that gets you through the energized focus. There's a lot of movements and also connection with tools. So this is one picture of that I'm scratching and then doing the drawing process and etching process on limestone. It's kind of negotiation between unseen force, because it's unpredictable, and then you're working with chemical stuff like different acids, and also your emotion and then the art making process. So there's a lack of control, there's a control. So you are between these two, and you're dealing with chance and accidents as well. So in that case, I touch Ineffable, right? By surrendering pre-making's mysteriousness and unpredictable qualities. So I want to give this beautiful quote from medieval Persian writer Sadi of Shiraz, or Sadia Shirazi, that resonates this with the natural processes like growth and decay, where sun and moon, wind and cloud, a power bigger than us and universe at work. So you're over and over dealing with unpredictable things, but at the same time you're pushing towards the process that you want to go through the art making process. One of the other inspiring things for me is dance movement, which is kind of similar to what I'm experiencing in movement of art, like also in pre-making, especially Sama dance. Sama dance is a Sufi dance, which is a ceremonial order of movements. So I'll show you a picture of that Sama dance. So the Sama dance represent a mystical journey, through the mind and love to the perfection, and then finding the peace, going through the movements and that ceremonial movements. So here also I kind of I'm touching Ineffable, because of, again, dealing with having control and then not having fully control of your actions. So the beginning, I'm controlling my space, but after linking to the harmonious flow, especially when you dance with other people, so you can feel you're out of the control. So part of your minds try to remain you in a in a present moment, but another part absorb into that flow, ineffable flow processes. And again, you have two different experiences: lack of control and control, fear of lack of control, and then fearlessness of losing yourself into that dance or ineffable freedom. So these are a couple of pictures of my performance right there. It was in my the Seven Valleys installation, and also my videos right there is showing that spiral dance. And also I forgot to mention that Sama dance is based on a spiral dance, starting from one side and then spinning around yourself in a, again, ceremonial order and movement. Flow also resembles the meditative state in many ways. Both approaches to self-awareness integrate and consolidate a deep concentration state with consciousness. Intentions, emotions, the senses and thought processes focus on the same aim. This is another words by Mihai. And with all these inspirations and these concepts, I originally start to draw again with traditional techniques. This one particularly is on etching with indirect processes, dealing with acid and stuff like that. And then also limestone, etching on limestone. But the process is starting with fully control at the beginning. But then I'm incorporating I'm inviting like natural forces by using chemical, materials, and also creating the image that I kind of want to begin with. Then with some organic forms, going through the automatism style, you're letting your subconscious flow. So the beginning was with your consciousness, like you are aware of what you're doing and in designing. And then the second process is just finding some images from those random or organic forms and improving the burst form that are satisfying for me and matches my ideal in my mind, to be able to create metamorphosis and not naturalistic renderings of the images. So this is the Seven Valleys. One of the views of the Seven Valley installation. Reference the Seven Valleys of the Conference of the Birds by Farideddin Attar is showing 7 plexi panels installed in a round shape, half round shape. So through this process, I also use transformation through the technique to be able to create abstracted images of bird-like creatures. So this piece right here is 36 by 74 inches a plexiglass, and I bring them together, together organic animal chaos using symmetrical forms and also overlapping the colors and then forms, particularly focusing on how to use like transparent colors to be able to overlap the colors and then find new forms and also find new colors by accident. So part of the image is totally in my control, and then the second part is like accidental images are coming out, and they are all on the plexiglass. So I in this process, animal forms illustrate the process of movement of natural dynamism. So these are shape-shifter forms that forms symbolize this cyclical rhythm of the universe, like birth, metamorphosis, death, and rebirth. And I also want to bring like more attention to these steps or these techniques that I use, which is mirroring and symmetry, and also layering. So mirroring creates visual flow because of repeated image that echo back on ourselves, that is representing also a spiritual pattern of which is similar to Samo dance. Again, the round shape and echoing back to the same spot that you started. And also symmetry is something that is creating harmonious structure visually, which is very satisfying to create that, to see that as always seeing symmetrical forms are very satisfying visually. And also layering is another thing that, you're layering multiple times images and creating organic forms, again, like finding some new accidental organic forms and swirling forms that, again, echo the Sama dance. So the 7 valleys included immersive, meditative, multimedia installation comprised of a screen print, plexiglass, video, sound, shadow, light, and performance. And also, like I said, interaction of the audience emotionally and physically. So physically interacting with their shadows that you can see, like new images, accidental new images as well. And then emotionally is getting through that, energized, focused, immersive moment, taking time with your inner world, just staying and then being at the moment. So these elements are combined to illustrate the experience of psychological flow. And it's kind of defining in a way to by being in a present moment, attaining a spiritual enlightenment by taking those steps to the perfection or those valleys to the perfection. And then in this installation, I ask my viewers to engage and then become my wayfarer, right? Become my bird. So, and then after having this installation, the feedbacks of the people were very interesting, my audience. And then giving me feedback about how they were fully focused and energized, were in the being moment and then the present moment, and then facing different emotions like fear, like happiness, sadness at the same time. And I even had an audience who said, like, I couldn't, face my reality, and then I couldn't stay there because of that fear that I had and I experienced there. So it was very interesting to me, those feedbacks from my audience. So in this installation, like I said, I had video projection. So also you can see the flat plexiglass image, and then how this image was in the gallery space. There was a certain space and then distance between my plexiglasses and then wall to be able to create that shadows, very clear shadows. And also my viewer could walk around behind the pieces to be able to see the videos, because the body of work casting the shadow, and then you could see the shadow on the wall, and at the same time, by walking around the piece, you could see the transformational images changing over and over. And basically, I overlapped one more time here the video, the shape of my work, video, and then shadow at the same time. So I want to invite you to watch this video. This is the gallery space. You want me to play again?
Yes, please.
So this images or the movements are behind these plexiglasses. My images are video of the murmuration of the birds, and then I kind of layer them with the movement of the Samo dance that I want to show you here, especially that movement. There is the Samo dance is going on there, and then it's kind of resemble the same movement of the birds at the same time. And I also translated my etchings, the mark makings that I etched on the plexiglass and also on copper plate right here. If you can see that lines and the forms, the hatchings and cross hatching that patterns that are there are. And I transform them also to the form of the birds and also, the movement of the Samo dance as well. It's a short video. And then as you can see some of you can see the image itself, the structure of the image, which is kind of representing the bird, characteristics of the human, and also even like a structure of the body. And you can see like transformational forms are happening over and over right here that is representing on stability, quality of the life, and the process, either in the technical processes or spiritual journey. So I want to continue with the story of the seven valleys, coming back to the story. So we talked about they're taking the journey to pass those seven valleys, but these seven valleys are full of obstacles and challenges, right? So the birds going through and flying through the seven valleys to find the Seymour located in the Puff Mountain, and then facing these obstacles. But these birds from all around the world, in these obstacles, they're not all of them making this, the final step. So in each one of these steps, some of them are, not making it and then die, or, cannot continue this journey. So the first valley is called quest. The second valley is love. The third valley is knowledge, valley of unity, contentment, wonderment, and poverty or nothingness. So these valleys represent the station, that Sufi or any individual wayfarer must pass through to attain the spiritual enlightenment and then finding that peace at the end of it. So I'm going to show you the individual panels that I created, starting with the first panel, first valley that I called quest. So in this valley, the valley of quest is where the wayfarer's heart is clean and their spiritual quest begins, casting aside all dogma, belief, and unbelief. So I started thinking about the colors, how can I combine the colors, and then I was very specific about the color palette. And I try to use the colors that are representing his spirituality, especially referencing that first image of Shahnameh that I showed you, the court of QMARS. This is the second value, which is the value of love, where reason is abundant for the sake of love. The fire of love causing pain and madness reveals the world of spirit. So again, I was dealing with, layering the images, creating symmetrical forms, and then also finding my image of the birds that is satisfying for me. And then also at the same time, representing that meaning of each value. The value of knowledge, this is the last limited value, where worldly knowledge becomes utterly useless. The wayfarer begins to face the mystery contained within divinity's revelation. I also here wanted to have some of the, like a more materialistic color instead of like fully spiritual color using in this color palette and combination. And then as you see, you can see some of the chaos, animal shapes that I overlap to create new images or new animal forms or accidental forms. So this is one of the main and important pieces or values for me, like visually, it's very important to me. The value of detachment, where the wayfarer endowed with wealth and power of a spiritual world gives up all desires and attachments to the world. So here, what is assumed to be reality vanishes. So this is the image I started with, that people is gathering, probably from this distance is not very clear, but it's showing the people are getting together, and I just created like overlapped and mirrored them to kind of like, again, showing that spiral form of dance and also that, cyclical movement. The value of unity, where the wayfarer realizes that everything is connected and the beloved is beyond everything, including harmony, multiplicity, and eternity. And again, I started with some of the animals right there, especially the birds right here, and then I overlapped them, created a new structure, which is usually reminds the structure of the body as well. The value of wonderment, where entranced by the beauty of beloved, the wayfarer becomes conscious of the vastness of glory of creation and finds the wayfarer has never known or understood anything. So this piece has a lot of layerings, and it was very challenging for me. And I also wanted to go through mostly the color palettes that are representing like wonderment and also spirituality. And lastly, which is another important piece, is the value of spiritual richness, where the self disappears into the universe and the wayfarer becomes timeless, existing in both past and the future. So I incorporated the face shape in this piece, and as you see, like it's repeated at the center as well. I want to share that through this process, it was very, like so many interesting things happened to create this collection. But also, like some of the sad things happened to me. I lost my sister a couple of months before to, creating this piece. So I decided to, bring that face into this piece to honor her, and also because of like not understanding exactly, but kind of feeling that, you know, um, or maybe defining as a perfection as a final step in this journey of spirituality, to honor her name, and also kind of use her face in this image to um, represent the value of spiritual richness. So the final valley is, remember we talked about they're going to this final journey, final step, which is the final valley to be able to find that perfection. But at the end of this journey, only 30 birds are left. And in Farsi, Simorgh means 30 bird, right? So when they get to the final valley in the Qaf mountain, they find a lake that, seeing the reflection of their faces at the same time on the lake, that they find out that they are Simorgh. So this is kind of like messaging us that we are all connected, and also we are unified, not only with each other, but also with nature as well. So, and also, the kind of understanding of their oneness as a shape of the Simorgh. Like I said, the meaning of the Simorgh is 30 birds, and then in spiritual numbers, 30 is a spiritual number that is representing universe, universal connection, and universe is communicating with us. And I want to mention that this is a story widely shared in my culture, to teach ideals such as reverence for nature and humanity's interconnectedness, which is the main idea of my work and the Seven Valley installation. Also is obviously representing a relationship between human and nature. And it's very significant for me because it's symbolizing my spiritual journey in connection with nature. So this image is showing the Sama dance, part of the ceremonial movements. And so in the flow state, human experience harmony and a feeling of spiritual peace. So when you go through this journey, and then to find the perfection, finally you get to the spiritual, you find the spiritual peace. And in my culture, the Sufi performs the steps of the ceremonial samadas, like you see here, and to be able to, find that perfection, and then finding that peace, and then getting into the energized focus by, connecting, finding that connection between inner world and themselves. So I want to again mention another words by Mihai. When the flow episode is over, one feels more together than before, not only internally, but also concerning respecting other people and the world in general. And I want to finish this with this beautiful quote by Rumi. Everything is in the universe is within you. Ask all from yourself. So this is pretty much the part of my journey, and then part of my spiritual and at the same time art journey. And I wanted to share with you, but I also want to mention a couple of images showing a couple of images that where I'm heading. So this piece is kind of continuation of the same concept, including the prints and video installation. And this is another shot of similar installations having the performance. But this one especially created for the revolution of Iran that happened last year, the Women Life Freedom, and that is representing the birds that kind of resemble women and people in Iran that are, fighting with their life for freedom. So this was, the idea was coming from there. And you can see the video behind the performer on the screen. And like I said, I started incorporating with scientific studies, geometrical and mathematical forms. And then these are a couple of images inspired by quadrivium and also Moorish design, which is based on Islamic mathematical design. So these are the designs right there. And then this is a shot from my studio space that I'm going to create like some of the images in a three-dimensional shape, and then also including the layerings and more geometrical and mathematical compositions. Yeah, that's all I.
Okay, maybe from our virtual friend, do you have questions for Darya?
You want to stop recording? Oh.
Yeah, you can stop if you want.